On tonight's show, we are taking a deep dive into the port of St. Lucia with our travel blogger and frequent visitor, Hailee. Our photo of the week comes from the Royal Caribbean Periscopers group. We have the latest Christmas cruise news, and I'm going to be looking at the history of Havana. And we also have an in-studio guest this week. That's right, Cruisin' Cat has come to join us. Cruisin' Cat is in the house, in the studio, and so we got a lot to get through tonight, guys. So get ready, because you guys are watching CruiseWeek.tv live. Our show this week is brought to you by the folks at Good Memories Travel and by vMix. Hey everyone, I'm Joe, your fairly new cruiser, and each week we get together with experts in the field of cruising, and we all learn something new together. Tonight, we'll take a look at the port of St. Lucia with Hailee and take a look at our latest cruise news that may affect your upcoming cruises. But first, I want to take a super quick poll for everyone on Facebook. So if you guys are on Facebook, get ready to hit some buttons on there. If you have been on 10 or more cruises, I'm going to need you to hit that thumbs up button, okay? Got that right? 10 or more cruises, hit the thumbs up button, all right? If you've been on 5 or more cruises, between 5 and 10 cruises, we'll say, hit the heart button, all right? And if you have been on less than 5 cruises, I'm going to need you to hit that little laughing face. We'll have you hit the laughing face. All right? Ready? And go. Jeopardy music play now. No Jeopardy music? Okay, so this is cruise. I'm sailing away. Da, 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 da. I'm watching them come in on Facebook right now. And honestly, guys, I'm watching all these come in through Facebook, and I'm seeing a lot of a lot of laughing faces, and I'm seeing a few hearts in there. But you know what? Honestly, most of all, I think I'm seeing more of the like button. So I think that most people that are in tonight have been on more than 10 cruises. So we have a lot, and I'm not too surprised. I got to be honest with you, not too surprised, because this is the cruise community. That's who tunes in to watch our show. There's people that love cruising. So that's very good. I'm glad to see that. Personally, you guys know I've only been on a few cruises, so I'm going to be asking some of you my questions, since it's obvious a bunch of you have been on far more cruises than I have. And you know what? That's okay, because that's why we bring on the experts to help us learn more about cruising, and you guys get to ask your questions of them live in the comments and the chat. Before we talk about St. Lucia with Hailee, though, I want to take a look first at our photo of the week. Now, each week, we pick a Facebook group and ask people to submit their best cruise photo with them in it. And this week, and totally because we have our friend Cruisin' Cat in the studio audience with us, we decided to pick the RC Periscopers group, and we picked this photo featuring Matt, who is a Periscope and blogger on Oasis of the Seas when Bird was last there. Remember, if you guys want to be featured here, you just have to keep an eye out in your local Facebook cruise groups for our photo of the week post, and then comment with your picture below it, and you may be featured in one of our future shows. There's more options for Cuba in 2018 as Royal Caribbean expands its sailings. The cruise line will double its opportunities for a Cuba adventure next summer with 2 ships sailing to the island nation, Majesty of the Seas and Empress of the Seas, and 2 new destinations added to itineraries. Empress Cruise vacations will include 7-night itineraries to Cienfuegos, Havana, and Nassau, 5 sailings visiting Key West, Florida, and spending the night in Havana, and an 8-night journey to Cienfuegos, Santiago de Cuba, Grand Cayman, and Labadee, Haiti. Cienfuegos is a UNESCO World Heritage Site established in 1819 with a wide array of visually stunning attractions, including acclaimed botanical gardens with more than 2,000 plant species on display, impressive neoclassical architecture, a 950-seat opera house, and the bustling Santa Isabel Boulevard. Santiago de Cuba is a gateway to Cuba's revolutionary and religious history, with adventures such as the UNESCO World Heritage-listed Castillo de Morado, the Sierra Maestra foothills, El Cobre, one of the most significant religious destinations in Cuba, and historic sites like Revolution Square. You know, I still want to go to Cuba so badly, especially after the last time when I saw Hailee's videos from Cuba. It just looks like an old world kind of charm place. It's just beautiful in pictures. So I want to see that in person. Princess Cruises announced that its fourth Royal Class ship will be named Sky Princess. Sky Princess is scheduled to debut in October 2019 on a series of Mediterranean voyages. The 143,700-ton, 3,660 passenger vessel will feature several of the successful design platforms used for previous Royal Class ships. Sky Princess will include signature elements like a soaring central piazza-style atrium, Princess Live entertainment venue, the relaxing adults-only sanctuary, Camp Discovery youth and teen centers, and a wide variety of guest-favorite dining venues, including Salty Dog Grill, Alfredo's Pizzeria, Vine's Wine Bar, Chef's Table Lumiere, and World Fresh Marketplace. The inaugural Mediterranean deployment of Sky Princess features 10 cruise departures on 8 unique itineraries. First up is a 7-day Mediterranean and Adriatic cruise from Athens to Barcelona, departing on October 20th, 2019. In addition, Sky Princess will sail on a new 7-day Mediterranean round-trip Rome voyage, calling in some of the most iconic ports in the Mediterranean Sea. St Lucia, if you haven't been there, it's an eastern Caribbean island nation with a pair of dramatically tapered mountains, the Pitons, on its west coast. Its coast is home to volcanic beaches, reef diving sites, luxury resorts, and fishing villages. Trails in the interior rainforest lead to waterfalls like the 15-meter-high Terrail, which pours over a cliff into the garden. The capital, Castres, is a popular cruise port where most cruise lines dock. Now, Hailee, or as we call her, Hailee with a flair, has visited the port and is ready to answer all of your questions about this magical tropical place. Welcome back to the show, Hailee. How are you tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
Peachy Keen Jelly Bean.
Peachy. So we will get you to Cuba, by the way. We will get you there.
You know, I need to go to Cuba. The last videos that you sent from Cuba were absolutely beautiful, and I really want to go. I know I'll get there at some point, but we'll talk more about Cuba later. I've got a whole history segment coming up about it. In the meantime, you need to tell us about St. Lucia. So tell me, how many times have you been to St. Lucia?
So I've only been once. However, I did a full 7-hour island tour. So literally immersed myself in probably 6, 7, 8 different activity sites and things to doing, from jumping in a waterfall to a mud bath, some snorkeling, eating bananas, and everything.
Nice. So you've only been to St. Lucia the one time. Now, before the show, you had mentioned to me that you put St. Lucia in your top 3 to top 5 cruise destinations. So what is it about this one trip, this one 7-hour trip, that put it that high on your list?
So, I mean, once you get out of Castres, I mean, there's some shopping and stuff there. It's not a built up port. Like, there's no Starbucks on the corner, 5 Diamonds Internationals and a bunch of things like that. Like, it's still kind of quiet. And the terrain itself just sets it apart. It's so different. You kind of get that lush, tropical, mountainous, almost kind of Hawaii kind of feel right there for you in the Caribbean. And the people are so friendly. I mean, I almost, don't yell at me, want to go back and do a bit of a land vacation because it's beautiful. It's really, it's one of those things you need to see to experience it. It's different. The sights, the sounds, the taste, everything's different.
Do you feel like your 7-hour trip was enough for you to see all of the island, or do you feel like you might need more than 7 hours?
I could probably easily take more than 7 hours, but it was a great sampling, because I think a lot of the time, sometimes people get comfortable with doing kind of the same itinerary, where this, I hadn't done Southern Caribbean at that point in time, was a great sampling of something that I would know if I was looking at another cruise and that was in the itinerary, that would definitely weigh very high in me wanting to go back and possibly dabble in a couple things that I didn't do, even though I think I hit a good chunk of everything.
So now, Cruising Cat wanted to ask this question, and personally, I want to know too, because you said it's not so much of a built-up port. But she asked, how easy is it to get to like major attractions or tourist destinations without that being such a built-up port? Is everything kind of within a walking distance, or do you have to take a taxi to get to most places?
So once you come into the port, all the tours are set up kind of as per normal. There's the port area shopping, and then once you come right out, there's a bunch of taxis. It's definitely I don't think it's a port where you can really just wing it per se. I would definitely do a little research on kind of what you want to do. Like if you want to go sit on a beach, go to Marigot Bay. If you want to do a little bit more adventuring, I think it's a port that requires a little bit more planning.
So now, did you book any like particular excursions? Was your 7-hour tour an excursion from the
Yes,
cruise
it
line?
was, but it was not through the cruise line.
Okay.
This is only the second time I have ever done an excursion that was not through a cruise line or created through myself. I tend to DIY a lot of things, but there were so many areas in St. Lucia that I wanted to hit between Castries and Soufriere that I wanted somebody that knew what they were doing. And I did a lot of research, and I used Casol Tours. And the tour was about $75 for 7 hours. And that included food and drink. And when I say food and drink, we stopped and ate bananas and snacks in the morning, then had lunch. And then we stopped on the way back and got this amazing hot, fresh bread and cheese to take back to the port with us. And I mean, the rum punch was flowing, the beers were flowing. My friends, my husband had about 10 beers apiece. Like, and I mean, and that included everything that we got to see. That included our entry into the Sulphur Spring mud baths, the waterfall. Like those were, because some of those attractions, if you're going to go separately, there's entrance fees for some of those.
So you got to like bypass the entrance fees by doing the tour.
Yes.
That's pretty awesome. So now, did you learn about on the tour? Did you learn about a lot about the island history?
Yes, Casol Tours was really great about educating you on this. So St. Lucia, going all the way back to early colonial imperialism time, changed hands between France and Great Britain about 14 times. So there's a lot of French influence. There's a lot of English influence there. We learned that aside from tourism, that the other top two economical sources for the island are bananas and oil and minerals. Like Hess is really, really big. When they got hit by I think it was a few years ago, by a hurricane, Hess poured, God, almost $1 million into repairing like schools and stuff down there.
Wow. So we had a question come in just recently on Facebook. This one comes from Ron Hiller. He wants to know how many people were on the tour and how did you guys get around?
So we had a shuttle van. It was us. So there was 4 of us, another couple, and then a family of 4 that were in this van. It definitely wasn't crowded in because, you know, like some places you go to and they like shove you in and you can't really move. But there was about 8 of us. You would see when we go to the certain meetup points, like at the Mud Bath Sulphur Springs entrance, there's other vans there. But I mean, otherwise we're just by ourselves in the one van.
Right on. So what were some of the so tell me some of the activities that you did. You mentioned you did a mud bath and you went to see the waterfall. Did you, now when you mentioned the waterfall, did you say you jumped into the waterfall?
This one, no, that's Jamaica. I jumped off of a waterfall.
What? That's
I was
safe?
pretty tempted.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that was a thing.
I'm still here. Tell the tale. So I'll kind of run through the day. So we started off, got in the shuttle. We stopped at a couple lookouts, and then we went to the banana plantation. We got to eat bananas, which, you know, everybody's like, oh, a banana. But these are smaller bananas, a little bigger than the finger-sized ones, and they kind of have a honey taste to them. They're really, really sweet. And then there's a little hut by one of the plantations where they have different hot sauces they've made out of bananas, like all these different things you can try. So from there we go and went to have lunch at this little, they have a party house kind of thing that overlooks one of the bays. So we ate our hearts delight, and then went over to the Pitons lookout and got that. You'll see a couple pictures probably come through there. The outside look of the Pitons from the backside. And then we went down into Soufriere and took a boat over to Sugar Beach. So Sugar Beach is that beach that is over by the Pitons. You can only get there by boat. So you have your choice when you get there. You can either lay out on the beach and just chill out, or you can snorkel. They have snorkel gear to rent. I personally bring my own. I do not like using other things people put in their mouth, personally speaking. And we can go into more in depth later if anybody has questions on that. There's actually some pretty good snorkeling, especially if you're introing to snorkeling. And it's all freelance. Nobody's telling you where to go and what to do. There's a whole roped off area. From there, we went over to the volcanic sulfur springs. And it's like 101 degree natural sulfur spring where you can take the mineral mud and wipe it all over your face and your body and pour out toxins and all that jazz. But the tip is, if you're going to go there, our driver told this to us ahead of time. A lot of people jump out and go to the showers. They have outdoor showers right there so you can wash the mud and stuff off. But it's near sulfur spring, so what do you think the water's going to smell like?
Yeah, that probably got that rotten egg smell to it, right?
Like, wrap yourself up in a towel. We're going to the waterfall next and just finish off in the waterfall. So that's what we did. But that was a bit of a drastic temperature jump because, I mean, this waterfall was beautiful. It's one of these ones that came out of the cavern. And the name escapes me because of cold, but it was cold. It was definitely cold. So you go from 101 degree hot spring to cold. But it did the trick. It was really neat. Like, the water there is just different, too. It's not even that blue turquoise. It's like a greenish color. It's really, really pretty. Then we hopped back in the van, did a couple other sites, site lookouts for photos. There's one really pretty one on the way back where you get the whole bay of Castries and you can take photos of all the ships in port. It's gorgeous. Then we got our hot bread and cheese and went back to port.
So we got a question coming in, and I'm glad they asked this question. Alexa Mikado wants to know, did your skin feel nice after the mud?
It actually did. I even made my husband put a little mud on his face, and it did actually. I mean, it wasn't like this, oh my God, I'm glowing feeling. No, but I mean, it felt pretty smooth, felt pretty good. Maybe I was mentally feeling better, but mentally thinking it was better. But no, it was great for me.
Well,
yeah,
sure,
that's my husband commenting down there about the beer.
Oh, he left a comment in there. Oh my goodness. So no, well, I mean, I'm sure a lot. You hear people paying a lot of money for like mud treatments like that. If you go to the island and get some of that like nice mineral mud on your skin, I imagine your skin would feel nice after that, just like a natural exfoliation. So now tell me about what was it? Sugar Bay? Is that what it was, or Sugar Beach?
Sugar Beach.
Sugar Beach.
It used to be called Jalousie or Jalousie. It was the former name of it, but now it's called Sugar Beach. So when you get to Soufriere, which is almost a third up the other side of the island, you have to go by boat, and there's little boats that take you back and forth. You're there for about an hour or so, but they take you right over. Can't get there by car, it's just by boat, and there's like a resort area off to the side, and then there's another open to the public kind of side for the boats that come over with their tours. Had really great snorkeling. I have some clips of that too on my blog if people want to see it. I mean, it's beautiful, and you're standing next to these two, like, in essence, old volcanoes. Like, it's just, words can't explain how in awe it feels being in that kind of a spot. It feels really secluded.
So are the volcanoes there still? They're not active volcanoes, are they?
No, those two aren't. There is a drive-in one near Soufriere that just kind of looks like a bubbling mud pit, but it's not like, oh my God, it's going to turn into Pompeii kind of thing. But
I'm sure the people in Pompeii said the same thing.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so we had another question. One came in from Facebook. Shelly Smith Kralik says that they loved St. Lucia. Did you guys go to any gardens?
We didn't go in them. We did a lot of overviews, like overview lookout spots. I have a ton of photos of beautiful tropical things. If they were actual gardens, official gardens, I'm not sure, but not during that stop, no.
Was there anything that you might have researched in St. Lucia that you didn't get to see?
I do want to go to Marigot Bay. I definitely want to do that. The
Marigot
beach
Bay.
looks beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I know they do have zip lining there, and I'm totally all for that, but other people in my group are definitely not for that. But I would love to try something like that. And I'd probably spend a little bit more time maybe at Sugar Beach the next time around. I really, really enjoyed that.
Well, I heard that Marigot Bay or Marigot Bay, right? Or Marigot
Mhm.
Beach, Marigot Bay. I heard Marigot Bay was quite a popular tourist destination. I was kind of surprised a 7-hour tour didn't make it all the way over there. Is
Well, I
that a
think they spend so much time doing the main highlights. I mean, because you kind of have to pick and choose, because that's a decent way down that side of the island too. And the roads in this island are very windy. You're going up a lot of hills, down a lot of hills. It's not like, Grand Cayman. I've driven up to the north side of Grand Cayman when I've ported there before. Like, no problem. It's flat, it's easy. These roads, not so much. It's not like you can just go 60, 70, even 50 straight down somewhere.
So now St. Lucia, being as beautiful as it is, I've seen pictures of it, and it looks absolutely beautiful. Why do you think it's not as built up as a port as some of the other places in the Caribbean?
I think that kind of comes down to the accessibility factor. There's not like a beach you can go walk right off to, or that's really within a good 5-minute drive. I think it's kind of an accessibility kind of thing. And then, I mean, compared to how many itineraries are going Southern Caribbean versus like Western and Eastern, I think that's another factor too.
You might be right on that. Yeah, St. Lucia. It honestly it looks absolutely beautiful, and I didn't really know too much about it beforehand. But it's been very informative. So now tell me a little bit about your blog too, Hailee. You've been doing your blog, Hailee the Flair, for how long now?
I committed about a year now. Like, it kind of was a bit of a hobby, and I kind of struggled for a while finding what my purpose was. It was definitely travel, but I came to the conclusion that I am not one of those people that can focus on just one thing. Like, my brain's going in 100 different directions. So there's a really big combination of travel on there. There are weekend trips. I try to focus on, trips in your own backyard to trips in the Caribbean, because not everybody can afford, a trip to St. Lucia. Some people kind of forget what's in their own backyard, especially being up here in New York. We have the Finger Lakes, like where I'm located. We're 2.5 hours from Toronto, 45 minutes from Niagara Falls, New York City. There's so many things in the backyard that people forget about. And then I also break it down to family vacation as well as adult vacations too. And I like to do video tours when I go places, because I think it's so hard to tell a story about a place just in writing. I'm a very visual learner myself. So between my photography and videography, I try to tell the story that way. But it's anything from a wine tour to Southern Caribbean cruise, and eventually Mediterranean in 2019. But it's across the board. It's anything you could think of. I mean, within the last month, I was down in New Orleans. I have a New Orleans post coming up. I did another cruise on Empress, so Key West and the Bahamas, and I just did Anthem for the first time. So I've got that. I've got Cancun coming up in a month, and then 2 cruises in February.
You've got quite a full itinerary booked, it sounds like. Do you think you might be going back to St. Lucia to do a land vacation at some point?
That's definitely in the cards. My husband has been begging to go to an island and stay on an island for a few days, and for me, it's very hard to come to grips, because I actually like sailing. I like the process of being on the sea and having a sea day. I really enjoy being on the water, but I have to go to Cancun for work. Struggle, but
such a hard
so
life you have, my dear.
I get to try out an all-inclusive kind of, stay in one spot kind of vacation.
Oh, you poor thing.
I know.
I'm so sorry. I feel so bad for you. Oh.
I know.
Oh my goodness. So, so,
So keep in mind, though, I just thought of one thing.
oh,
So
sure.
when you're doing this itinerary, Southern Caribbean, especially this eastern side versus the ABCs, you're likely going to have a 7-night itinerary. Are the popular ones? There are some longer ones, but they're going to be 7-night itineraries with probably about 5 ports. So you're going to get 1 sea day and 5 ports back to back to back to back to back. So if you're looking to relax, bear that in mind when you're looking at that itinerary, because that itinerary for me was Barbados, St. Lucia, Antigua, St. Kitts, and St. Martin.
Alrighty. So now, Hailee, you're an awesome guest to have on the show, and honestly, I look forward to having you on future shows. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. But before we go, I just want you to talk just a little bit about your blog. Tell our viewers where they can find your blog.
I'm a bit of everywhere, and Ron Hiller likes to make fun of me for it, but I'm everywhere. So it's Hailee with Flair, and that's the website down below. I'm on Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Periscope, Facebook. God, am I missing anything? Have I come up with anything new lately? No, I think that's about it. But usually when I'm cruising, especially too, since we have a lot of cruisers in here, I do periscopes through RC Periscopers with Kat. I think she's down somewhere. Oh no, anywhere. But I do RC Periscopers with Kat. I also do Snapchat as well. I know that, some people don't like Snapchat, but sometimes when that Voom is being a little testy, Snapchat still gets me through.
No, I get you. Absolutely. Well, Hailee, thank you so much for joining us on the show tonight. I've always enjoyed. I'll look forward to having you on as a guest on a future show as well. Thank you so much. So, who likes to save money or get money back on their cruise? Did you know you can actually save money by booking through a travel agent? That's something the cruise lines won't tell you. A few other reasons for using a travel agent are a personal service and cash credit back. You can actually cruise for cheaper. So whatever cruise that you're planning to be on, give Good Memories Travel a call. You'll get the same great rates as you would booking yourself. Plus, you may get an onboard credit or a customer reward. Yes, they actually give you money to go cruise with. They enjoy planning and helping with group cruises, family reunions, weddings, and honeymoon cruises as well. Good Memories Travel specializes in handling every aspect of your group cruise. Imagine letting someone else do all the work while you get to relax. In fact, Debbie is personally handling our group cruise on the Carnival Horizon in 2019. But they don't just handle cruises for Carnival. They handle cruises for all cruise lines like Carnival, Royal, MSC, Norwegian, and more all over the world. They're your one-stop place for everything when you're planning your cruise. Call Debbie for a free, no-obligation quote on your next cruise. What have you got to lose? Debbie can be reached at 321-338-2953 or, of course, through their website at goodmemoriestravel.com and let them know you heard about them right here on CruiseWeek.tv. And so I was told the other day that we've been doing our Saturday Cruise Week show for a year now. In fact, this week, this show is number 53, so we are officially in our second year, and we've had 52 special guests on the shows over the past year. We've covered topics like passports, using a travel agent, many, many ports with guests from each one. We've talked to comedians, cruise directors, writers, and crew. We've taken you guys on various ships like Oasis of the Seas, the Vista, Majesty, the Triumph. And we've taken you behind the scenes to the kitchens, the entertainment studios, even the morgue and the brig on a cruise ship. Each of our past 52 shows are available on our website at cruiseweek.tv/live. So after that, go take a look, and you'll find some great information there. Our very first group cruise is set for the Carnival Horizon in 2019. And this is being put on by our good friends at Good Memories Travel, and we'd love to get our community on there with us. It's going to be February 23rd, 2019, and we hope to have our entire team on board and having a blast with you all, as well as enjoying one of Carnival's biggest and newest ships. The entry for the $500 drawing has also been extended, so you can be entered into that when you book. There's a webpage for the cruise, and that's cruiseweek.tv/group cruise. Let us know what you'd like to see on the group cruise since we've never done one before. The entry for the $500 drawing has been extended until December 31st, so go ahead and join myself, Bird, Matt, and Shallie with you guys all on the ship. So Havana is the capital city, largest city, province, major port, and leading commercial center of Cuba. Conquistador Diego Velázquez de Celular founded Havana on August 25th, 1515, on the southern coast of the island near the present town of Sergio de... I'm sorry, I'm going to try to pronounce this right. Surgidero de Batabano, or more likely the banks of the Mayabec River, close to Playa Mayabec. All attempts to found a city on Cuba's south coast have failed, except Havana began as a trading port and suffered regular attacks by buccaneers, pirates, and French corsairs. In 1592, King Philip II of Spain granted Havana the title of the city. Later on, the city would officially be designated as key to the New World and rampart of the West Indies by the Spanish crown, and efforts to build or improve defensive infrastructures grew. Havana greatly expanded over the next few hundred years, and by the middle of the 18th century, it had over 70,000 inhabitants. Havana was the most important part of the Spanish ports because it had facilities where ships could be refitted. By 1740, it had become Spain's largest and most active shipyard and only dry dock in the New World. The city was captured by the British during the 7 Years' War, causing a rapid transformation of Cuban society. Less than a year after Havana was seized, the Peace of Paris was signed by the three warring powers, thus ending the 7 Years' War. The treaty gave Britain Florida in exchange for the return of the city of Havana over to Spain. Over the next 100 years, Havana became a flourishing and fashionable city. Havana's theaters featured the most distinguished actors of the age, and prosperity among the burgeoning middle class led to expensive new classical mansions being erected. Havana was enriched by the construction of additional cultural facilities such as the Tacon Theatre, one of the most luxurious in the world. The fact that slavery was legal in Cuba until 1886 led Southern American interests, including a plan by the Knights of the Golden Circle to create a golden circle within a 1,200-mile radius centered on Havana. After the Confederate States of America were defeated in the American Civil War in 1865, many former slaveholders continued to run plantations by moving to Havana. Tourism boomed in Havana for the first half of the 20th century until the Cuban Revolution in 1959. With the deterioration of Cuba-United States relations and the imposition of the trade embargo on the island in 1961, tourism dropped drastically and did not return to anything close to its pre-revolution levels until 1989. The United States reestablished diplomatic relations with Cuba in 2015, and the tourism industry has benefited. But today, many travelers remain concerned about how long travel to Cuba will be possible under President Trump. I know we've mentioned that on the show before, so if you plan on cruising to Havana, you might not want to book your cruise out too far in the future. So our cruise and all the wonderful abilities that we have to bring in guests remotely wouldn't be possible at the level that we do without vMix. vMix is the live production software that powers our live show and many, many other high-end productions. From church services to football games, more and more live productions are running on vMix. And what our producer Bird really liked when he was trying to improve our show was that they give you a full 60-day trial of everything. That way, you can test it out risk-free before you buy for a full 2 months. And then they have systems starting from just $350 up to $1,500, depending on your production requirements. If you're going to do any sort of serious live streaming, you need vMix, so try it at vmix.com today. We know you all like free cruise swag, and we have a competition running until next week when the winner will be announced. To enter, all you have to do is like and follow our Facebook page at facebook.com/cruiseweek. That's all. And the winner will be picked next week on our show. So next week is a special show because Bird, our producer, has been trying for a year to get Carnival's John Hild on the show, and eventually his bribes paid off. So next week, John Held will be here and talking about his life on pretty much every Carnival ship out there, his rise from humble beginnings, and his move to social media platforms. He's going to be talking to your. He's going to be talking and answering your questions live, and we'll be giving away the Carnival prize to one lucky person who has liked our page, and that's next Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Guys, if you know someone who's going to enjoy watching the show as much as you do, be nice and be sure to share this link to their Facebook wall. That way they too can enjoy. If they don't have a Facebook, be sure to send it to them in an email. I'm sure they'll be able to figure it out there and they'll be able to enjoy it there as well. Also, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just doing that alone really helps show our sponsors the support that we have, and it helps keep our show alive each week. And I really want to thank Cruising Cat from RC Periscopers Group for joining us in person tonight and keeping an eye on the Periscope group from the production room. Thank you so much, Cruising Cat, and thanks to everyone for coming in and joining us. Remember, our Carnival competition and our next week's guest our Carnival competition, and remember next week's guest. Remember to like and follow our Facebook page and our YouTube page and get updates and win prizes. Also, be sure to watch Wednesday, the Wednesday show with Matt and Bird. Until next time, I'm Joe, and we're going to see you guys on the ships.